We begin with ABC pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air for comments made about Charlie Kirk. ABC announced yesterday pulling Jimmy Kimmel live off the air indefinitely. I mean, this is where we are. The decision came after threats from the FCC chairman to the stations that carry the show regarding comments about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, what were the remarks that were so egregious, so controversial that Jimmy Kimmel, even Stephen Colbert, it's a goodbye, right? For now, we'll see what happens. What is the end in May? Next May? Maybe he'll last that long. But Kimmel, somebody better go check for him. Do a wellness check. I'm not suggesting that he's unwell, but I want to know that he's not been disappeared here. That's how quickly this happened. So what were the remarks? Must have been really something. Well, I'll tell you. During his monologue on Monday, Kimmel took a few jabs at President Trump, as he has done many times. Wouldn't you know it, a late night comedian taking jabs at the president? I thought that happened whether they had a D or an R by their name or wore a red hat. It's just what they do. Okay. They attack supermodels sometimes too. I remember Letterman did that to Cindy Crawford years ago. It was uncomfortable. Okay, so he's done that a lot. He made fun of Trump's seemingly indifferent response to a reporter's question about Charlie Kirk's killing as Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University September 10th. But it was what Kimmel said right before that, apparently, that upset people, including Donald Trump. We hit some new lows over the weekend, with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Okay. Well, where's the rest of it? Okay, I'll keep going. It's got to be in here somewhere. On Friday, Sinclair, the media group replacing Kimmel's show with a tribute to Charlie Kirk. Okay. On his show last week, Kimmel called Kirk's murder senseless. And on the day it happened, Kimmel posted a message on Instagram sending love to the Kirk family and to the victims of gun violence. Occasionally, Jimmy even gets serious on the air. He's even cried before over health issues, children, and this on social media, gun violence, supporting the Kirk family. I want to show you exactly what he wrote, actually. Instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? Yeah, we can, Jimmy. On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence. Okay, so is there any argument with that? What was, that was touching. It was touching. One man, though, is rejoicing in the news of Jimmy Kimmel's show's cancellation. Great news for America. I want you to see if you can guess who this is. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel's show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. President Donald J. Trump. I wonder if, Seth has probably seen it. Jimmy's probably still asleep, from what I hear. And that's okay. You're up late. It's that kind of lifestyle. You know what I'm talking about. I love Jimmy Kimmel, and because he doesn't take himself too seriously. And, if he wakes up with a hangover or something, maybe he's not great all the time, but are you? It was just 2 months ago the president was celebrating after CBS announced it was canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, another longtime Trump critic. At the time, Trump warned Jimmy Kimmel was next. In his latest post, Trump said, well, I told you, that leaves Jimmy and Seth. Late night host Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, the president urging NBC to cancel them. I wouldn't answer the phone. If work called, I just wouldn't answer the phone. I'm coming in, okay? And I would have my headsets on, Beats by Dre, and I'm not listening to anyone. Let this whole thing pass. Let's talk about the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr. He used to be so for free speech. Not now, though. He criticized Kimmel's remarks, threatened federal action against ABC affiliates who carried the show. Look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. That's what he said to podcaster Benny Johnson on Wednesday. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. I should have tried to get my best like Tony Soprano voice because that sounded like a mafia hit. We're talking about for a comedian. It's like Beavis and Butthead human. It's they're just there to make us laugh, and it's an escape. Nope. Anna Gomez, the only Democrat member of the FCC, criticized Carr's remarks. She'll be gone soon. She posted on X that an inexcusable act of political violence by one disturbed individual must never be exploited as justification for broader censorship or control. And not everyone even felt like Kimmel's remarks warranted a suspension. I mean, when I first read this, I wanted to say to the team, is that everything? Or did we lose a page here? But this is everything. Multiple ABC execs felt that Jimmy Kimmel had not crossed any editorial lines, but the top brass pissing themselves. That's the quote, in fear of blowback from mafiosa, the Trump administration. That's according to a new Rolling Stone report. Two sources told Rolling Stone that several execs believe Kimmel said nothing over the line, but the fear of government retaliation won out. Media filling in some of the details behind the scenes here. Reminder, this comes just days after the word shared by J.D. Vance on the Charlie Kirk show. Remember?
It flows from all of us. So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility.
So, and maybe, Elliot, you'll say this is too much. I know we don't live in North Korea. I know we don't live in Russia. But these are places I picture where even fun is dictated. We tell you when to laugh. We tell you when to be proud. We tell you when to be sad and have national days of mourning. You don't have any freedom of expression unless the authoritarian rule says you do. And when I saw this last night, I thought, am I on Comedy Central? Jimmy Kimmel? And I said, okay, what did he say? He went in. Because sometimes, Ellie, they go in. You know how it is, But then I kept waiting for the gotcha, the horrific, disgusting, vile commentary and jokes. And I think I'm still waiting. How about you?
Yeah, I had this exact same reaction that I first saw what he got fired over, and I was just a little disappointed, especially from like a comedic standpoint. I wanted to kind of go for it, and it was just kind of like, okay, this is them, bowing to the administration. But I do think the person who is having a great time here is Donald Trump, because he somehow, this is my theory on it, Sharon. Okay, I think that President Trump is, this is going to sound crazy, an old person. And I think as an old person, he likes watching cable television, and he likes watching cable television at night. And sometimes old people, when they're doing that, scream at their televisions. Yeah. And so I think he has figured out a way over the years by becoming president that he can now yell at the television and it actually starts doing what he says. So I'm actually like impressed by it. It's like he did the positive power of positive thinking, basically, and now he can control the television with his mind. It's really great. Good for him. But no, the whole thing is it is crazy. It's all a bunch of like pearl clutching. It's like, what are we doing here? I mean, at some point we have to go, yes, what happened was bad. And when bad things happen, it's gonna get messy. Some people are going to lionize Charlie Kirk and make him seem like a perfect person and compare him to MLK, even though they said diametrically opposed things very often. And then other people are going to make jokes and the other way, and they're going to make really dark, nihilistic jokes about it. So I think there's just a real like, what are we like? Are we in a fantasy land? I mean, maybe it's Russia. Maybe it's Russia. We're heading that way, I guess. What I'll say.
Wow. Yeah, you're so young, but you hit the nail on the head with some senior
Oh, thank
behavior.
you.
I feel like I can still hear my mother, I love you and I miss you. My stepfather, he used to scream at the TV in old cowboy movies and stuff. And my mom would say,
Yep.
Martin, will you shut up? But they were perfectly matched for each other and they loved each other. There's nothing rooted in love here. And people can say, well, this is a private entity. You can say whatever you want, but the speech has consequences. Yeah, but while that's true, it's like chilling, threatening suppression of free speech across the board, right? Um, I don't know if Jimmy thought this could happen, but I tell you, it's jarring, it's chilling, it's scary, but I expect this from certain people in certain places and those who blindly support them. I'm more angry, and I'm curious if you are, with the capitulation. ABC, the second time, right? George Stephanopoulos, what did he say? And suddenly $16 million exchanges hands. Or was that Paramount, CBS? It's just, and then the law groups and all of that. Why would I follow any of you people? Capitulation across the board. Is anyone strong? I say from my house with the curtains closed, but I hope I'm not that.
Yeah, and also I think when these guys like, I mean, JD Vance there in that clip, and we've talked about this a little bit, but like there's just something a little dorky when they start sounding tough like this and they start getting really like, yeah, we did it, bro. And then I'm like, all you're doing though is inflating them by capitulating. You're making them actually think they're tough. And I know they have the potential to be an incredibly harmful entity and they are mob-like for sure. But I think that makes it all the more important to just like hold your ground. You're a massive media company. You're going to be okay. I mean, this is what you do. You should be like thinking a little long. Well, actually, I answered my own question. They're not thinking long term. They're capitulating to the president and they're doing whatever they have to do to make sure that they don't get a mean phone call from him, basically. Which goes back to him watching TV at night. I do think they're scared of getting a call from him where he is, zoned out on whatever he's taken and he's just screaming a diatribe at him.
Yeah. And I get it. When someone appears unwell, um, goes off just like that, too much Diet Coke or whatever, I don't want to field those calls, but then why are you the network honchos, right? I thought you were the big guns, but
Yeah.
instead you're under your desk. You're hidden under your desk, okay, waiting for, I'd be scared of Jimmy's agent. And the thing about it is, it's not just about a bean counter and cutting costs, right? Because and Jimmy Kimmel's not been fired, he's in this like kind of, this is, it's even cowardly the limbo he's in. Do something, will you? Okay. Do you know how much money they'd have to pay him? And I'm just talking about probably like what's left and buyouts and all this stuff. Not even if he decides to, lawyer up, get Marty Singer or somebody out there. Marty Singer's a big one out there, and decide that I'm going to the max. Okay. I actually used Marty Singer one time. I don't know why, but I did. Okay. You want to mess with me? I'm going to mess with you. I was nobody, but somehow I had a connection. I used him. That said, this is really about I'm afraid of this man and his awesome power and his angry ability to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's anger, and it's also, I think, everyone's falling in line because they're watching other people do it. And I also think that this isn't really also about how Kimmel talked about Kirk. I think that he could have reworded that a little differently, but at the end of the day, he made fun of Trump. Like, this is just because he mocked the president. It's not about the assassination that took place. And this is another example, I think, of this side using this event to paint their political opponents in a way where it's like, this is the best you can come up, and they go, oh yeah, no, they hurt his ego. That's what it was. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like when Obama, who was very funny himself, you could rate him, and he sat at that
Right.
press dinner, correspondence dinner, right? And everybody laughed, and it was funny. But I knew then that we can lay a good bit of the rise of Donald Trump at the former president's feet, because that's the moment that it was unleashed. And I know we have to move on, but I'm going to say this: a comedian's a comedian, okay? And Charlie Kirk is a man, was a man who should be here with his family. But when we're willing to go to these lengths, and that assassination's disgusting, I still stop sending it to me. I don't want to click on it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that. But it was so disgusting. But you know what else was disgusting? Sandy Hook and everything before and after it. And and yet I saw certain lawmakers chasing David Hogg and saying horrific things. And I saw Alex Jones and heard him saying these were actors when people were missing their kids around, if you celebrate Christmas. Listen, and that speech, and I agree with the families going after him for telling lies and inflicting pain. That's how they had to frame it legally to get there. But we're supposed to protect the worst speech. That's actually what that's about, not like things that we can generally agree with. No, I'll give you the last word.
No, I mean, well said. Also, as you brought up, I think just seeing the footage the way we all saw the footage at the same time plays a really big role in this. And
Hmm.
no one should have had to have seen that. It shouldn't have happened, but I think visually it kind of scarred people, it triggered us a little bit. And so we're just seeing this really messy reaction across the board. And I think
Yeah.
that like with the internet too, there's this idea that people should be responding in such a way, but it's like, have you been on the internet? Like, it's not known for not being a place filled with vitriol. That's all it is. So I think this is all kind of like a fair bit of smoke and mirrors. And so hopefully everyone can just chill out and calm down, because
Mm.
it's also, I don't think, doing a service to Charlie Kirk's memory.
No, I don't either. No matter what you believe, and people like us believe he should
Yeah.
be here. And I didn't have a problem with him having an audience. You fight, as Jenk says, you fight with words, right?
Right.
Uh, like I said, I know we have to move on, but you're so smart. It's so obvious, but I didn't think that that perhaps is driving it even more. The fact that this video has probably been viewed, I don't know. We'll get the number. How many tens of million, maybe who knows? Could be a billion views by now.